40 million years ago, there was Ocean Sea, which combination between Mediterranean Sea and Indian Ocean, which has organisms like whales and sea turtles. Now it's fossilized.
There are more than 400 fossils in Wadi al-Haytan, the Valley of the Whales, and they are discovering more all the time. It is an important project by the Egyptian government, implemented with Italian cooperation and the support of the UNDP. It is such a precious place that it has been a UNESCO site since 2005. Wadi al-Haytan is a place full of biodiversity, poetry, and history. Currently, 13,000 people visit every year, and this number is constantly increasing. But plans are not to exceed an upper limit of 20,000.
We are trained here to first to make a monitoring for the fossils and to make a monitoring for visitors and to improve the behavior and awareness.
Local workers are employed for the implementation of the structures, and they use traditional construction techniques. But modern technology is present as well.
This is a skeleton of Basilosaurus. When we found the fossil, we removed carefully the deposits in this fossil.
A road links Wadi al-Haytan to the protected area of Wadi al-Rayyan, one of the 28 reserves in Egypt. Throughout the year, about 180,000 visitors arrive, whole families and groups of students. On one of the shores of the lake, there is a coffee shop, toilets, and a small mosque. There's also a visitor center full of descriptive panels, interactive games, and video screenings.
Now we have 28 protected areas and national parks, which represent almost 15% of the whole Egyptian territory.
Law 102 of 1983 established the protected areas, which cover 15% of Egyptian territory. These areas are the most important tool for biodiversity conservation and natural resources.
There are many similarities between Egypt and Italy. One of them is the fact that both countries are well known for having a beautiful environment and an extraordinary civilization with a great monumental presence.
The Egyptian-Italian Environmental Program, implemented by the Italian Development Cooperation with the Egyptian Environment Agency, is a cornerstone for environmental protection.
When we started the Italian cooperation, the main interest was how to develop capacity for developing and management of protected areas.
The second phase, just completed, shows some tangible results. Structures have been completed, and trained judges and environmental staff are in protected areas, also for educational activities.
In our cooperation with Egypt, we were able to pass our own experience, to pass our own know-how and technology.
Italian cooperation was working on this program not using a top-down approach, but an integrated approach, an holistic approach, working not only with people, for people, but working day by day in the field as well as at the institutional level.
The activities are carried out in coordination with the UNDP.
The government of Egypt brings its commitment to enhance and expand protected areas. The UNDP brings behind it its experience in many, many other countries, its technical skills. The government of Italy brings with it its commitment to the development of Egypt and its commitment to the natural environment. These three elements created a very good partnership that started 6 years ago, and it's still going strong.
Only a few kilometers from Wadi al-Rayyan is the archaeological site of Medinat Madi. program made the building of a road and visitor center possible, but above all, this extraordinary place was cleaned by the sand.
E il vento che qui è esposto a ovest porta da Zara sabbia e sabbia. I monumenti si erano praticamente insabbiati, quindi è nata questa l'idea di riportare alla luce quello che già era stato scoperto, in modo da poterlo restaurare, capire, integrare.
Medinat Madi is a very important site. It contains Middle Kingdom temples and also Roman temples. The project that the Italians are doing with us is actually called site management. How can you explain the site to the visitors by making a visitor center and also conservation to the temples?
Abbiamo fatto un sistema di studio complessivo di tutta l'area archeologica, naturalistica, paesaggistica di tutto il Fayum, dove sono stati raccolti tutti i dati bibliografici dall'inizio dell'Ottocento sino al 2005, sono stati posizionati col GPS tutti i siti. Per ognuno di questo sito è stato fatto una scheda di database con tutte le informazioni di tipo archeologico, ovvero l'epoca, il tipo di monumento, il proprietario, la natura e l'informazione bibliografica.
An important job was also implemented in the vast necropolis of Saqqara, noted for the presence of the stepped pyramid of Pharaoh Djoser. It dates back some 3,000 years and is probably the oldest existing pyramid.
Abbiamo anche monitorato quasi tutte le tombe aperte, si misura l'umidità, la temperatura e l'anidride carbonica all'interno della tomba, in modo che se supera una certa percentuale di umidità avverte il direttore del sito, il quale può prendere la decisione di chiudere la tomba creando un turnover delle tombe.
The technology used in historical sites is crucial, as it is to manage the natural resources better. The Nile is the lifeblood of this country. 95% of the water for its 80 million people comes from this river. The best way to protect it is to know how and where it flows.
Decision support system is a tool for decision makers that require to identify the impact of their decision in the management of water resources. What if we increase the irrigation, the cultivated area in the desert, or if we change the cropping patterns in certain area? All this type of decision will have an impact in the water, in the amount of water that is required, and in the possibility of properly distributing at the right time when it's needed the water in each point.
Desert oases are spots of both life and nature. 25,000 people live in Siwa. Agriculture and tourism are the sectors that can guarantee a future. Italian cooperation is ensuring the implementation of several projects to improve irrigation, the proper pruning of the olive trees, and new crops. An experimental farm was also built. This oasis has 1 million palm trees, and the dates here are of excellent quality.
This one kind or samples of basket leaves and packed the dates inside, so starting to export this.
SCDEC is the local association which, with support, manages several different projects.
Our aim to support women, income generating, support the farmer to find the market to them, local and international. The third one, how to collaborate between the Siwa society and other society to exchange the cultures, to benefit from experiences from between us and the others.
The structures are important, and Italy is collaborating also in the restoration of this building.
Il target è di riuscire a ottenere in questo piccolo compound strutture di accoglienza del turista tipico come un centro visite, arredato con gli interessi, i problemi, la cultura di Siwi, e la possibilità per il turista di poter usufruire di servizi a pagamento che consentono la sostenibilità dell'area.
Although far from the Nile, Siwa is rich in water, sometimes thermal. There are about 200 natural springs. But there is a disturbing lowering of the underground water table.
How do we model the groundwater flow so that we make sure, first, that the water is non-renewable, how much recharge is taking place, if any. All this depends on data and modeling. And Italy helped us in modeling, by the way, a lot.
There was water also in the Gilf Kebir, the largest protected area in Egypt, national park since 2007. It extends to Libya and Sudan. Instead of a desert, there was lush vegetation and streams filled the Wadi, now dried up. About 7,000 years ago, groups of people lived there who have left us magnificent paintings. And it's difficult to forget the impressions felt after visiting places like the White Desert. It has been a protected area since 2002, about 4 million square kilometers of desert that seems sculpted in such an imaginative and poetic way. The environmental cooperation between Italy and Egypt has realized the visitor center and has trained rangers.
We have to protect the species, the planet, the animal, all these species, and we have to monitor it again. We have to classify all the species, the plant species, the flora and the fauna, to know how many species we have inside our protected area.
Environment, development, tradition, and history. A path traced by the two countries, Egypt and Italy, which have always shared ideas and projects. A journey that goes on.